Poland's armored history is a story of resilience. From the earliest tankettes of the interwar period to Soviet-built machines used by the Polish army, and finally to modern domestic upgrades and Western platforms, Polish armor reflects a century of adaptation under pressure. In this video, we will explain every major Polish tank in chronological order, divided into 3 stages: interwar innovation, war and Soviet influence, and modern Polish armor. Interwar innovation. Poland's armored story begins with the Renault FT, one of the first tanks used by Polish forces after the country regained independence. Light, simple, and already old-fashioned by later standards, the Renault FT still mattered because it gave Poland its first real experience with armored warfare. It was not a powerful machine, but it helped establish the foundation of Polish tank development. The Ford FTB was one of Poland's earliest indigenous armored vehicles. Based on the Renault FT concept and adapted with a Ford chassis, it represented a very practical approach to building armored vehicles during the chaotic early years of Polish statehood. It was small and improvised, but it showed that Poland was already thinking seriously about mobile firepower. The TK3 became one of the most important Polish tankettes of the interwar period. Small, fast, and light, it was designed for reconnaissance and support rather than direct tank combat. In the 1930s, many armies still believed vehicles like this could play useful battlefield roles, and the TK3 was Poland's answer to that idea. The TKS was a refined version of the TK3 and one of the best-known Polish tankettes. It remained small, but it improved on the earlier design and became one of the main light armored vehicles available to Poland before the war. The TKS is especially remembered because it shows both the creativity and the limitations of Poland's armored forces in the 1930s. The Vickers E was not a purely Polish design, but it played a major role in shaping Polish tank development. Imported from Britain, it helped Poland study modern tank design and gave engineers a valuable reference point for future vehicles. The Vickers E became a stepping stone toward more serious domestic tank projects. The 7TP was Poland's most famous interwar tank and one of its most important armored achievements. Based in part on the Vickers E, it was a genuine improvement over earlier light tanks and tankettes. The 7TP was one of the clearest signs that Poland could create a capable modern tank of its own, even with limited resources and a difficult strategic situation. The WZ.34 armored car was another important element of Poland's early mechanized forces. Although not a tank in the strictest sense, it belonged to the same armored family and helped Poland experiment with mobility, armored support, and reconnaissance. It shows how Poland's armored forces developed across several vehicle types, not just tanks. The 10TP was one of Poland's most ambitious interwar tank projects. It reflected an attempt to move beyond light vehicles and toward a faster, more advanced cruiser-style tank. Even though it never reached full wartime maturity, the 10TP remains important because it proves that Poland was thinking ahead before the invasion interrupted everything. The 14TP was another advanced Polish prototype, designed as a more capable medium tank. Like the 10TP, it was part of Poland's effort to modernize its armored forces before the outbreak of war. It never had the chance to influence the battlefield, but it stands as one of the most interesting examples of what Polish tank development might have become. War and Soviet influence. The T-3485 became one of the most important tanks used by the post-war Polish army. It was a Soviet design, but in Polish service it played a central role in rebuilding armored strength after the devastation of the war. The T-3485 was practical, effective, and widely recognized, making it one of the key vehicles in Poland's post-war armored history. The IS-2 was another Soviet heavy tank used by Polish forces. Powerful, heavily armored, and armed with a massive gun, it gave Poland access to a truly formidable battlefield machine. The IS-2 is important in this story because it shows how Poland's armored forces evolved under Soviet influence after the war. The Su-76 was a light self-propelled gun used by Polish forces during and after the war. Although not a traditional tank, it played an important role in providing mobile fire support. Its presence in Polish service shows how armored warfare often depends on more than just tanks alone. The T-54 became one of the most influential post-war tanks in Polish service. It represented a major leap in armored capability compared with earlier wartime machines. For Poland, the T-54 was part of the Soviet-backed armored rebuild that defined the Cold War era. The T-55 continued that development and became one of the most widely used tanks in Polish service. Reliable, practical, and long-lived, it became a core part of Poland's armored forces for many years. The T-55 is important because it represents continuity, a tank that helped carry Poland through a long period of Cold War military structure. Modern Polish armor. The T-72M1 became one of the major armored vehicles in Polish service during the late Cold War and beyond. It gave Poland a more modern main battle tank platform and remained important during the transition from Warsaw Pact doctrine to a more independent Polish military identity. The T-72M1 is one of the clearest symbols of the late Cold War armored era in Poland. The PT-76 was an amphibious tank used by Polish forces for mobility and specialized roles. It was lighter than the main battle tanks and could operate in terrain where heavier vehicles would struggle. That made it useful in a different way, especially in environments where water crossings and flexibility mattered. The PT-91 Twardy is one of Poland's most important domestic tank developments. Based on the T-72 family but upgraded with Polish improvements, it showed that Poland could modernize a Soviet-era design into something far more capable. The PT-91 is one of the most significant symbols of Poland's post-Cold War armored identity. The Leopard 2PL represents Poland's move toward NATO's standard armored power. As an upgraded version of the Leopard 2, it shows how Poland integrated Western armored technology into its modern force structure. The Leopard 2PL is important because it marks Poland's shift into the modern European armored environment. The K2PL is one of the newest and most advanced directions in Polish armored development. It represents Poland's effort to secure a modern, high-performance tank platform for the future. The K2PL is not just another upgrade. It is a sign of where Polish armor is heading in the modern era. Finally, the Wilk MBT concept points to the future. As a concept rather than a full battlefield legacy vehicle, it shows that Poland continues to think seriously about what its next main battle tank should be. Even though it is still a future idea, it belongs in the story because it represents the next chapter of Polish armored ambition. From the Renault FT and TK3 to the 7TP, the T-3485, the PT-91 Twardy, and the modern Leopard 2PL and K2PL, Polish tank development tells a story of persistence, adaptation, and reinvention. Some of these vehicles were local innovations, some were foreign designs used in Polish service, and some were modern upgrades built to meet new strategic realities. Together, they show how Poland built and rebuilt its armored forces through war, occupation, alliance, and modernization.